Hi guys. So when it comes to most of our fears and anxieties, they are relationally based. This means they're based on the relationships that we have. Now, more often than not, when we talk about relationships, we assume that we're talking about the people in our immediate circles. So we think about our partners, we think about our siblings, our parents, and our children. However, any interaction that you have on a regular basis can be deemed a relationship. For example, you have a relationship with your work colleagues and you have a relationship with your employer. So it's worth noting that, as I said, a lot of the anxieties are based around relationships. So being aware of the way in which you engage in relationships is key to resolving a lot of the anxiety and the conflict that you experience. And I suppose the first thing I'm going to talk about is duality or ambivalence. I mean, a lot of us sit very uncomfortably with the dualities that we experience. So, in other words, when we're in conflict with our partners, oftentimes we can be really pissed off with them. We can really dislike them in that moment and yet still love them at the same time, and we can completely disagree with someone, just say like our employer, and yet have huge respect for them at the same time. And our brain doesn't sit with that well, it doesn't split people evenly the way reality often does. So it's about being aware that it's okay to have negative feelings about somebody without feeling like you're somehow doing something bad. I mean, ultimately, negative feelings, fears, insecurities are all part of the process. And if you can learn to embrace them for what they are, as in they're not a permanent way of thinking, then you will transcend them quite quickly. Whereas when you always feel a need to fight against negative thoughts and think, oh, I shouldn't be thinking like this, I mean, this is the person I love, well, then you're always going to struggle and you're not going to resolve conflicts quite as quickly. Now, what's also important to note is the stories that you tell yourself. Oftentimes, our interpretations of our partners, the people in our lives, any of our relationships, is based on two things. It's based on our past experiences and it's also based on the mood that we're currently in. And oftentimes I find I'll receive the exact same WhatsApp message response from my partner, for example, and it's just a thumbs up. And if I'm in a good place, I'll be just like, all right, yeah, they're just concurring with what I just said. Whereas if I'm in a bad place, I'll be like, oh my God, what's going on? They're obviously pissed off with me. They didn't even include words. And it just goes to show we can be so, succumb to whatever mood that we are in at the time. So it's just about being aware of that. I mean, ultimately, we tell ourselves stories about other people. You may receive an email from your boss on a Friday saying we have to have a meeting on Monday morning. And you spend the whole weekend creating these stories as to what that email was actually about and what Monday is actually going to be about. And ultimately, you don't actually know what the story is. So, by you creating all of these anxieties, you're just keeping yourself in a state of worry. So, you have two choices in situations like that. You can either investigate things a little bit further with the person, or you can, have it out with the person in a very healthy manner of conflict, whether it be in a relationship or with your boss or whatever. By talking to them, you will ensure that the story that you have at least has some truth to it. Whereas if you continue on with your own story, it's just really a fabrication of, your perception of events. Then the other thing is you can sit with not knowing. And this is the most difficult option because it's the one that we have to take quite a lot. However, not knowing is something that we really struggle with because it makes us feel like we're not in control. And the thing is, when we don't feel in control, we try to control other people and we try to create our interpretations of what it is that they mean or what it is that they're implying. And that's very dangerous territory because, again, when you make assumptions, you have no fact, you have no reality based information. So there's lots of room for ambiguity and, as I said, creating a lot of inner turmoil and inner conflict for yourself. Bear in mind as well, this works in reverse. When we don't express to people what it is that we're actually feeling, they are left with no option but to create their story for what it is that we're experiencing. So the more open your communication at all time, the better off you are going to be. But as I said, oftentimes we have to learn to sit with a little bit of acceptance. We have to sit with not knowing. And I mean, this is a powerful tool to develop. Doesn't come easily initially. I mean, being able to surrender, to not being in control, to not knowing everything, to, basically only being able to work on your own experience takes a lot, and it goes outside our comfort zone, because ultimately so many of us find security in believing that we have control over events. But if we can be grounded, if we can practice being centered, if we can practice letting things go, surrendering, acknowledging that we don't know what anyone else's experience is, so there's no point in us trying to project our stories onto them, we feel a lot more peaceful, we feel a lot more content in ourselves. But as I said, this is a practice. It's something that you get stronger with, and it starts off with self-awareness, becoming aware of what your own story is and the story you tell yourself about other people. And then you move on to practicing empathy, trying to put yourself into somebody else's shoes, trying to understand what their experience may be. I mean, ultimately, so much of the way we interpret things is built on our own pain, our own suffering, and our own stories. And if we can move away from this a little bit, we give ourselves the opportunity for so much more contentment, and we have a lot more energy available for more positive thinking, for more positive ways of living, for practicing gratitude, for practicing kindness, and for just feeling more content and at peace with ourselves. If you are struggling in any area with your mental health, get in touch with me on my website. It's fundamentals.ie. You'll also catch me on my Facebook and my Instagram. I do regular content on my YouTube channel, which is Fiona Feely, and I do a regular podcast with Neil O'Brien. It's called Touchy and Feely. It's available on iTunes and Spotify, so go check those out. I'd really appreciate if you like, share and subscribe to them. And again, as always, if there's anything specific you would like me to talk about or to talk to me about, get in touch with me. I'd be more than happy to do so.